So, where we left off then, you guys are at the Crow Fort in the Kettle Keep speaking with a mostly recovered Seardaman Maibi. Garup is holed up in the cheese bath. Avar and Theodore are safe inside the walls. They're currently at the Crow's Nest. Lieutenant Clover is slowly being mended by the dental healer Adar, or Adair. Arteme is tranced in the infirmary nearby, specifically preparing to the regeneration spell to begin that process for Clover's missing limbs. Maibi had told everyone about an ancient Vabian tomb called Amenephis. There's some remaining artifacts of Masensu's time are rumored to be there still, or at least they were last she knew. She said that the hood specifically would be valuable in your guys' infiltration attempts later on if you were able to recover it. Not that you necessarily needed to. Fox, well, shit. There was a couple things that I meant to get finished and I didn't have time to get done. So we may have to do those mid-game, but I don't expect any problems there. So that is where we left off. I'll go ahead and move us over real quick. That was on the loud side. Let me turn that down. Volume levels are probably a little bit off. I made some changes I'm swapping out all my screens and everything with 4K, so there's some adjustments needed for drivers which reset audio levels. So anyway, that still seems loud. There we go. Is that audible? Is that good for everybody as far as audio level?
I'm not hearing it.
It's actually a little quiet for me.
Okay. Yeah, same here. The wind.
The wind?
Yeah,
okay.
Wind's a little louder than normal, but it's not like crazy.
Okay.
All right. Well, let me on my end, and I'm good.
Okay. Fox, keep in mind. I'll try to give a heads up just in case anytime we change scenes, the volume levels on other scenes, especially ones you guys have been to before, might be too loud in that case, Fox. So you might need to, so you don't give yourself a headache, have to adjust them down quick. Yeah. So I'll try to give a warning.
The good news is I finally have something for like the pain stuff, so hopefully I'll be a bit better from now on. We'll see.
So far it's working?
Yeah.
It's good to hear. All right. So back here in the Kettle Keep, though, you guys were discussing with my EB. Oh, I had her. Oh, it was the wrong token. That's right. Yeah, there were some things I needed to fix that I didn't get around to. I will just use that token for now to represent her. It's not actually her, of course, but it is a Seardaman. So there we are. So what are you guys doing?
Pogo is going to go speak with Avar and Sarah's dad and find out where else we could take them and they'd be safe. Somewhere that's not in the capital city, perhaps another friend or relative of the father, or ask the group if we know of another safe spot.
Does the group know of another safe spot?
Sorry, I was looking through my notes. A safe spot for what?
For your dad, you lass. For your dad and Avar.
I would say maybe I could send them to my aunt, but that would be tricky.
Yeah, the closest we could get would... Well, we could fly there, although I don't know how far it would take out of our way.
That's with Sarah. That'd be a few hours.
I mean, you can't really go home.
If we were gonna fly there using, damn it, the name of the Nautilus that I can't remember, Sebastopol. How long would it take to go, say, from the capital to that Elden Island?
Like 3 hours.
Oh, yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, that island, Gwynsera, is not that far off the coast. It's just down the coast. In fact, you guys almost made that exact same trip when you went to the city.
Sure. So why don't we do that? Why don't we bring Avar, your father, with us, and then we can drop him off at their aunt. I know she's a working woman, but did you fix her legs? I don't remember. Were you planning on it?
I don't think we got a chance to, did we?
We
left right away.
We've got a little time. You might be able to use that nice hat of yours to help her with her feet.
Yeah, I might be able to do that.
As a reminder, there, you definitely started, and it was working. It was just going to take more time than you had. So you were basically, she was already getting feeling and some mobility back, but she was still in the chair when you left.
So we could warp back to Nautilus, get the broom, stealthily, sneakily, pay for it, of course, and then take Avar and your father to your aunt. hang out for a day, have some wine, see how the social structure on that island has adapted over the last few weeks?
You really don't want to go into the Elven cities.
We don't? I mean, it's better now. Maybe it's calms down a lot. We took care of the thing that was causing all that violence for the werewolf people.
Yeah, but elves have a history of being persecuted, so they don't really like outsiders too much.
All right. Well, then, do you think it would, knowing your aunt, do you think they would not be acceptable of Avar and Sarah's father? Maybe that's not a
if they
great
could
place.
help out on the dig site with little things, it wouldn't be too bad.
They're not going to get stabbed by some angry elf or something, right?
Probably not.
DM question: would she know how, what the familiar?
She's right. Yeah, she's correct there. I will say as a reminder there too that if Arteme shows her face in a place where she would be recognized, or specifically, or at least particularly rather, the crown, the Wood Sage's chorus that she's wearing, that will be a problem. That was supposed to have been returned, and she's kind of absconded with it.
Well, I haven't returned it yet because I'm not done with it.
Well, yeah.
They don't know
That's
that.
the point. Yeah, they don't know that. You were supposed to. Well, you were supposed to have returned it within some amount of time, and it's been a little longer, maybe.
I'm just gonna kind of look around the room and be like, Christ, we don't have, between the five of us, we do not have a very safe, secondary home life that anyone can just rely on. Norok, how many people you got left? Like 8? And they're wandering the area that has a giant dragon flying overhead. I'm gonna look at Nazim, and then I'm immediately gonna just look over to Sarah, and your mom's terrible.
Yeah.
And Arteme, you come from a very racist, prejudiced island, and I don't know.
No.
I mean,
First of all,
I'm not saying they don't have good reason. It's just, it sounds like they are very prejudiced to outsiders from.
it's not
things
really
that other
prejudice. It's just they don't
outsiders did.
trust outsiders because other races have tried to literally slaughter us to extinction. So
it's
we
prejudice.
just don't trust them.
It's prejudice. It's fine. I understand. It's human nature sometimes, but they might want to take a civics lesson or something and understand a little bit better about people. People are different individuals.
Well, what about you, Pogo? Do you know of anywhere safe? You're well traveled.
I've never really settled down anywhere. We could. I technically, does Pogo know if his actual original the dwarven village that actually took him in when he was a little kid? Does he know if he's still around? He didn't have a bad upbringing. He just left. It was time to leave.
I mean, he wouldn't necessarily know that
Because
if
he
anything.
hasn't gone back in a long time.
That's it. I mean, that's kind of up to you on whether Pogo would have gone back, and if he hasn't, he probably wouldn't have any news of that unless he'd specifically sought that out.
Yeah. So in short, I mean, I probably wouldn't. I haven't been home in where I was originally from in 2 decades. I've been traveling. I've literally been a traveling performer since then, and all the places I've even settled down temporarily usually have to leave under some circumstances that's not the greatest.
Jumping out of a second floor window.
Yeah, it's the life of an entertainer. I didn't choose the game. The game chose me. So,
Sure.
Right.
I mean,
none
of those-
friends.
But
Small
none of those
town.
places were safer than others. Maybe not necessarily for you, but for people of my dad and Avar's stature.
So, Pogo is very well traveled. Would you know of any smaller towns that have not been impacted by the Juthran influence, that have also not been in the way of the I hate that I keep forgetting their name. The dead people. The
Abby?
Nabian.
Yeah, I mean, much of the Empire, sure. The thing is the Juthran influence, I guess, would be the larger issue. The further into the Empire you get, and that's where most of Pogo's travels have been, has been Empire side. So there's plenty of smaller towns and villages, but it's and you don't necessarily have friends. Let's say
what I'm
people that you would
is-
trust dropping them off with.
What I'm thinking is maybe I might not have friends, but Pogo might know of a spot that, as of right now, is at least safe. We could give the father and Avar some gold and just have them, take up residency temporarily, maybe for a month in an inn. We could give them 30 gold for living expenses. Equip them with the things that they'll need to get by, some food, drink, at least for the first few days. Find them a hotel, shouldn't take too long. Maybe rent a room in a nice person's house or a barn. Any town that he could just think of that we could drop him off with, maybe no one would know him, and maybe we just come up with a backstory for them that they can hang low for a little bit of time until we find something better.
Yeah, I mean, that's really not a difficult thing at all. You spend
I'm
plenty
gonna
of
let
time
you basically
traveling.
come up with a fake name and place right now, and then wherever, because I don't know the map well enough to know what the names of these places might be. Just any small town that Pogo may know, and it doesn't, like, you could keep whatever secrets about it you want, but like something that he thinks might be safe.
Sure. There's a village that, on the world map, it would be on kind of near even the capital. Is just a little ways east. In fact, about the town of Thunder Tree, where this has been quite some time, of course, but where Westra and Drost had run into some people there. Do you remember that? Well, Ben and Becky would. So it basically east of the capital city, anyways. But Thunder Tree, that kind of ruined village that you guys had seen there, that was the Jocelyn. You probably remember that. But anyways, I guess the location of. But there's a town called Meadow that's not too far from there. That is as far as you can know, anyways,
Sure.
Seems safe.
And I think
So,
I've been there. I don't think I left enough trouble in my wake to where anyone would remember me, but
I'd say that you specifically are just trying to pick one out where you didn't get in any kind of
Exactly.
trouble and had to leave in a hurry.
Like
they
just
don't-
If you create trouble and leave in a hurry, that's kind of your own doing.
Yeah, but that's the thing is I don't want to. I can obviously make myself look like someone else, and they can go into the town. We can get them just to the outskirts, make sure they go in safe and nice, and give them some sort of, maybe we can give them some sort of warning system if they need our help. They can speak to you, or you can of course check in on them. Can't one of you check in on them every once in a while? Don't you have some sort of spell or something that you can reach out?
Not
Or
that far.
Not that far. All right. Well,
Well, I might have dream walking, but
tell you what, we still all have Rocky Talkies. We don't all need one. I'll give them mine and they can reach out to us if they need it. What do you say?
You guys are still currently, just as far as status on Rocky Talkies.
I think I still need
Nazim.
one, right?
Yeah, Nazim doesn't have one, but you guys.
Nazim still needs one, and I still have the one tied to the Juthrins for now because, well, they're assholes, and I don't want them near me.
That one
Okay,
probably.
that is being kind of prejudiced because some of them might not be like too bad as a people, but as a religion, they're horrible.
Well, Nazim is one,
I
so.
say
Sorry, he's a Vavi, not a Juthrin.
If 9 people sit down at a table with a Juthrin and they don't have any problems with him, you got 10 Juthrins. That's the issue.
Okay. But no, and for the elven place, it's not necessarily that you won't be safe. It's just, and it's not necessarily prejudice. It's just that elves do not want to interact with other species unless they have to because they've been persecuted in the past. So it's
what you're
just
referring
them
to is the
being
sacred
weary.
progressions.
That's a
Yeah.
pretty good quote there, Pogo.
Question. So if I were to heal my aunt, did I still need the Wisdom course for anything else? Because I know I need it to cure my EB once I finish with Clover. If I were to heal my aunt, I could probably give it back because I don't need it anymore, do I?
I mean,
That's up to you. Yeah, that's up to you. I mean, being able to concentrate on 2 things at once, two concentration spells at once, is a pretty powerful thing to give up, as well as the upcasting to healing. So, I mean, as far as need, that's really, I guess as far as immediate, needs of needing to regenerate people and things like that, that's kind of up to you.
Okay, because I do not want to be completely exiled from my home.
Well, so you're not like in trouble yet, I guess is how I'd put that. You just know that they are expecting you back soon to return it, and you haven't shown up yet. So doesn't mean you'll necessarily be exiled or persona non grata, but they do want it back, obviously.
Yeah,
I mean, you could always
definitely.
just return it later and apologize for losing track of time.
True. But
We have
I also
a
want to
couple
find a
of
different item that does something similar. Even if I have like 2 different items, one to concentrate on 2 spells and one to upcast, that would be great. Yeah. So I'll be doing research on when we get back to the Kettle Keep, or I should add that to my to-do list, is research items that would let me upcast spells and concentrate on 2. That's not the Wood Sage's course.
That kind of arc is particularly, sought after and not just rare, but extremely powerful. Of course, they're not frequent by any means. So, I mean, there's a reason that the one you have is a national jewel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's your whoever, as I look at Norak, and it's your dad. So whatever you guys think's a good idea, I'm fine with it. And I think with that, I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna pretend like I already took a bath and like flashed my nuggets in front of Garrett a few times just for fun.
well, I mean, this conversation, by the way, maybe it would have been gone by now too.
This conversation is kind of partially OC because I'm not actually there.
Well, no, that's what I was going to say. We're just assuming that this happened after, because she had to transfer 4 hours anyway, which would give you like you guys the time to do the notes stuff that you would put in there anyway. So bath and Nazim wanted to do some reading and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, a little preening and also a little reconnaissance questioning if possible. I don't know if that went down.
Let me read back over that again. That's the other thing that I meant to go over here was the notes. I know I specifically, suggested that, and you guys, took on that, which I very much appreciated, and then I didn't have the wherewithal to go through and actually get it all prepared, so I apologize. I appreciate you guys following through and then me not, so apologies for that. Long rest obviously hasn't happened. You would definitely have had time for that, and well, the morning, that's that's up to you how you want to handle that. But yeah, as far as the rest of that though, that's fine. The Garrett bit, I would say that you easily could have done that communication, but specifically, I guess the questions you were asking would be the question, what you're asking him to write down.
Yeah.
I'll give you those details, at least for what he was able to give you. Garrett wasn't imprisoned though, so that's kind of doesn't connect quite right, but it's still the idea. I get what you're referring to there, anyway. So.
Yeah, in the facility, I guess I should have said.
All right, I'll give you some notes for those, but okay. So, and I guess if we're jumping ahead, then at least the 4 hours, probably maybe 4.5 to 5 even, because Artemis would have needed some time to begin the regeneration. Artemis, was that all you had intended to do? Was start casting regenerate at Maibi, or at Clover rather?
Yeah, I was gonna try and heal her and do the regenerate.
Okay. Yeah, both of those they're going to take multiple attempts. You're going to have to return as frequently as you can. Anyways, only benefit is once per day, meaning you could do it more than that, but it won't have any impact. So you might as well just do it once per day if you can. And it might take a week, just like you did with Maibi.
Yeah, I'll keep doing that as much as I need to.
Sure.
So I'll write off the spell slot.
Okay. And I'll take care of those notes too, Fox. What you just dropped in the character channel.
Okay,
right.
Thank you.
So you guys have had this conversation. Artemis has gone through with the Clover, healing process. At least gotten that begun. Nazim and Pogo have had their baths. What are Sarah and Norak doing, or did you do rather? I guess for that 5-hour block.
Well, we could have discussed dropping off Avar and Theodore, which I guess is fine with me. The plan that we came up with.
That's fine. I mean,
Artemis with Artemis, of course.
You would Artemis, yes. Although you would have casted, although you casted regenerate after that, so apply it and then take your spell slot back for regenerate. But as far as that, the conversation occurred after that, but that's fine, just because Artemis was present for it too. So we're not retconning her input on the possibly going to Gwynsair. but we'll pick up from there. So as far as what you guys were doing for that time, if there was anything specific for Sarah,
I would have found somebody to practice sniping with. My
What?
upcasting ability.
Okay.
Even if everybody else was busy, just finding some soldier that had magic abilities.
The mages, all though, are not the mage cadre are like special. They're pulled out of standard duty. You're not going to find them, and there's only 2 left right now: Adair and another one that is focusing on the Older Rock. So they neither of the 2, since it's just a skeleton crew left, are available for that. So you would have needed Nazim or Pogo or Arteme to assist.
Okay, then I would have gone to Pogo, I guess, because I don't want to bother Arteme, and I'm not sure where Nazim went, so
Okay.
I would try to find Pogo.
I'm just eating like 8,000 calories.
Wheel after wheel of cheese.
I'm eating. I'm determined to eat so much food that I have to go to sleep right after. That kind of meal. Thanksgiving type.
You're trying to force yourself to get a long rest in before you guys leave.
You see me like I had taken a bath. I'm wearing clean clothes, but I am like just like gross mouthful of food when you find me.
All right. Arteme or Sarah, though, you with Pogo then get some practice in on that. You do have pretty confident, I would say decent confidence that you'll be able to pull it off in the time, if you needed to as a reaction in a chaotic situation.
Okay.
It's the
how
prepared
many
channel
spells?
energy one that you were trying, right?
I believe so.
That is the one that does the upcast of the
Yeah.
creature you can see within 60 feet. Spend a spell slot equal to the amount you wish to empower that creature's target spell, yeah. Pogo, you do have that shield. I put that in your inventory if you want to look that over.
Yeah.
I would say that this is, at the very least, this is a short rest, obviously, for anybody that may need to, if you wanted to make adjustments as far as attunements or anything of that sort. If you guys want to, you can just extend it and make it a long rest anyway, although you will need to, sleep as well. So at this point, it is 7 p.m. So, it's still a little early, but up to you.
Alright, and
Well,
where
I
are we
will-
heading next, guys? After we leave here?
We're gonna sleep.
To a Menefis tomb in the central Valley, Great Sand Sea.
Okay.
You taking a Sebastopol there, or how are we getting there?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask Maibi if she knew of a circle or anything there, or nearby.
If you catch up with her again at some point, she's not staying at the Kettle Keep, of course. But when you do run across her again, she tells you, that there aren't structures that stay in place in the Great Sand Sea. That's kind of the trouble, is that the buildings are always moving, and who knows if this building that was next to it last year is still there. It might have moved miles and miles away by now.
Right.
Can I? I was just going to say, Holmes, can I change the resistance on my Armband of Mefua to necrotic, please?
Sure. Here, I'll make a note of it for you. But yeah, we'll remember that it's necrotic now anyways. Wasn't it? What was it before? Wasn't it necrotic for a while?
It was, and then I put it to radiant because it's something that we were doing, and then put it back to necrotic now since we're going to the land of the Negros.
All right. I have made a note of it.
So, am I going with them, and are we going to be back within a day so I could do more regeneration, or am I staying here?
Well, maybe if we're gonna have to take the ship, the ship's gonna take however long to get here. So we're gonna have to wait for the ship, otherwise we're walking.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to bring up the map real quick just to make that easier as far as planning here. If I can find it.
Because apparently nothing stays where it's supposed to out there.
Where is... That's not the map I'm looking for. There we go.
Oh, and I would have
Show
gotten a description of the tomb that we were looking for, so at least if we see a building out there, we know whether it's what we want or not.
Okay. She describes it as a step pyramid to you, although it is very likely under a lot of sand. It might be entirely buried, for all she knows. So locating it may be difficult at the very least, but it is it is a tomb just like Kafunamat was. Kafunamat was where Masetsu was buried, and Amenephis is where one of his what's the word? Disciples, I guess. Amenek is his name. Is buried. It is that. That map that I just shared, though, that region. So you guys right now are in that itty-bitty little corner piece on the far right that is in the black area. That's where the borderlands are at, and that's where the Crow Fort is. On the far left, in the top left area, is where the City of Mist is, the capital. Gwyn Sarah's off the coast of that, so those islands that are just to the bottom left of that, that's where Artemis Aunt Leary is at. And then the Great Sand Sea is to the south. So you guys see that where Al-Qadir and where Kafunamat was. Al-Qadir is where you guys were, evicted, and then the chain of dogs happened, and you guys were forced to march all the way to the Badlands, into the kind of borderlandy area, basically, where the Crow Fort is now. So you guys marched all up along that coast on the east side. But anyways, where Amenephis is somewhere in that giant desert to the south. She gives you a general area. Like you'll probably be able to find it as long as you can, seek out something that is sticking up out of the sand. But trying to walk there probably wouldn't be feasible. You would need an aerial view most likely, if you have that option.
Yes, we're gonna need the ship. Which means we should probably call the ship here.
Well, can't we just warp to the ship from the... We can just make a port. We can use a spell and just make another thing to the ship.
I mean, we can. Actually, we kind of need to go back to town because we've
get
got
the broom.
one use left of teleportation. Or the circle.
That's right. We got to buy more stuff for teleportation, and we got to pick up the broom.
Yes.
In and out.
Anything else?
I guess 2 hours.
And don't get arrested.
Yeah.
It's like a Costco Target run, just for that one item, and then leave.
Yeah. We just need cheese.
We also need to go
How
to the back of
How long is it going to take to get the ship and come back here?
Oh shit! I'm
Are
sorry,
you
dog. Let's drop water on Esther. she's sleeping at my feet, and my cup, my ice water cup, is the condensation on it was dripping, and I just dripped it all over her, and she just flipped out. She was asleep. Anyways, sorry, it made me laugh. But as far as flight time, I guess, are you asking then, Fox? If you get it and then flew here with it?
Well, if you guys are going to get it to fly here, I'm just wondering if it's going to take over a day or something. If I just stay here and use another regenerate spell on her.
Well, it would be faster to fly just straight down from where the ship is, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of up to you guys, but basically, you guys. All right, so if you still have that map up there, I guess it depends where you're intending to drop off Avar and Theodore, unless you're leaving them here. Because if you're going to teleport them with you to the Sevastopol and then drop them off somewhere, that's the kind of middle step question mark before you go to the desert. So if you're going east, you. By the way, I was thinking 3 hours to here. That's not. If you're going to Gwyn Ser, that's only like an hour. It's more like 3 or 4 hours to get to the Crow Fort from the city.
And Meadow, where is that?
East of the city, east of the capital. So the capital there, where you see half of the word Agermoth and Phandalin, half of Phandalin, it would be basically north of the half of the word Phandalin, is where Meadow is.
I mean, we could drop them off and then fly down, but are we gonna fly east to pick up Artemis, or are we just gonna fly south to the Great Sands? How long would it take to drop off Avar and Theodore, go pick up Fox, and then get to the Great Sands?
Most of a day, let's say.
Real quick, do we have enough gold to get the broom?
We stole a bunch of shit and it's in the bag of holding. We have to go through that stuff.
We can use that
Alright,
long
but I
travel
have-
time for some of us to long rest too.
I got the equivalent of like 230 gold. Is all I have.
Yeah, no, Sarah's broke as shit right now. She got 6 gold.
What stolen stuff are you referring to? Nazim made a good point there too, by the way. I don't know if anybody heard him.
Was it?
No, I didn't.
Rest while we're flying.
Yeah, it's going
Is
to
that
take
what
half
you're
a day to get there, he
saying?
said, so we could do long rests and just rest up on the travel.
Cool.
Yeah. Good idea. No, the stuff that we stole when we got the Echo of the Eagerling. The chests and stuff that we stole.
Sure.
That we just dumped in
Oh
there.
shit! Forgot about that.
You're the one who stole it and you forgot. Okay.
I'm sure there's enough
That was
stuff in there.
literally like
that-
a chest of gold, wasn't it? Like a chest of fucking coins.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was mundane stuff, but yeah, it was. I think I gave you a value. I'm looking back for it now.
I forgot all about that shit.
Yeah, Pogo grabbed a bunch of it, and Nazim grabbed some, mostly notes, but there was a researcher spell book as well. Where is that
What's that?
value? Anyways, yeah. So I mean, go ahead and continue planning. I'll just find that in my notes here.
Yeah, that's got to be enough.
Yeah,
Easy.
so I'm sure we can pay for it using that because we had it written down how much we needed.
I re-put it because we had it was hard to find, so I re-put it.
Pogo, it was a jewelry box that was filled near to overflowing with platinum and gold bracelets, amulets, necklaces, things like that. All in the very subdued style of the dead south of Vabi. If you were to sell it in mist, the value would probably be around 1,500 gold. If you were to take it to Vabi, it would be much higher. It'd be like 2,000, maybe 2,500 gold. You did give 300 gold worth of it to Nissi, though.
Sure. Yeah, that poor girl's gonna need therapy.
Yeah,
don't think-
I actually
don't think she was-
We probably did before all of that.
I have a spell that I took for this reason. I'm not going to consume the thing, but here's the spell.
Let's see. Where did that come from? I don't recognize that.
That was
spell
one of
name.
the wizard ones that I took.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Wow. So you can cut the price of things in half if you're buying them, and then make them more valuable if you're selling them. That's fucking cool.
I mean, they can do an investigation check
Sure.
to see.
I will.
pretty
I will
good,
tell you that Sarah would recognize that trying to do that, like that specifically, trying to magically alter the apparent value of something in a magic shop where they have such protections as the mirror's curtains.
Oh no, I
and
didn't
all that
think
stuff.
we would go to a magic shop to do this.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
figured
okay,
we would do
okay.
this at like just a regular jewelry
Yeah,
shop
that's okay.
and get the gold and then go to the magic shop.
Sure, that's fair. That's fair.
We need to go to like a fucking pawn shop or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay,
so,
wait, you said we'd
Question
get
where it
more
comes
value for the stuff in Vabi, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we don't know a lot of places in that.
And
one
they kinda
second.
my
kicked
EB.
I'll be right back,
Most
guys.
of us out of Abby because we're not Babian.
That is
So,
true.
I doubt we can sell shit.
Disguise? Disguise and ask Maibi for a lead.
Like,
I mean, it's a
if
possibility,
she knows like a nice jewelry store somewhere.
but we're also
She
heading
doesn't strike
to.
me as the jewelry type personally.
We're also going to the Great Sand Sea. I don't think there's like anything living
Jewels
out
aren't
there.
always just for like beauty stuff. Some of them do have spell casting.
Yeah, but I think these were
Yeah,
just
these are
mundane.
like these are just
Yeah, these are probably just mundane, but I'm just saying that. Yeah.
all I know is back in my youth when I made poor decisions, if you had a chest of things like this and you took them to an actual jewelry store, they're gonna ask a couple questions about where you got them from. The go-tos are grandfather died, grandmother was a prostitute, no one knew, found all of these things after her passing. tomb raiding sometimes, if you talk about tomb raiding, pull that one off. But if you go to you might not get as much money, but if you go to like a pawn shop or something like that, someplace where they're more willing to look
Not
the
ask
other
questions?
way. Yeah, not a nice place, medium place.
You pay a premium for less questions.
Yeah, that's if it was a single item, you can usually get away with it. Having literally a chest filled with jewelry is
Overflowing, in fact.
yeah, overflowing is seemingly my recommendation. I'm sure we'll be fine, especially if we're not in the capital. We probably don't want to try to do this in the capital city, but other cities will probably be all right. But just my 2 cents.
You just tell them we made a lot of money in the boiled denim market.
Boiled denim. I'm a full-on rapist.
So that is still one of my favorite. That one comes up every time I hear the word philanthropist. That is the first thing I think of every time, literally every time.
Something here, and I don't want to know.
It's from
joke.
Always
They're
Sunny.
like, tell her
Yeah.
you're a philanthropist, and he's like, I'm a full-on rapist.
The really dumb guy, and he's on a blind date with a woman, and they're trying to talk him up so that he, will do well on the date with this woman, and he doesn't know the word philanthropist. They tell him to tell her that he's a philanthropist, and yeah, that's what he says instead. So it's a good show. New season starts in a couple days.
Oh shit.
Anyway, so I had to step away for a second there. Did I miss plenty? Go ahead.
Not
Well,
really.
okay, so the options were pretty much maybe ask my EB if we get more value in Babby to go sell it to see if there'd be a decent place and use the disguise to do that, and or just find a pawn shop of questionable repute to sell the stuff.
Sure. My EB would let you know that I mean, she can certainly go with you when it's time, and that would probably be your best bet because you are not a inconspicuous group, and you not only will you not blend in, but you will definitely draw a lot of attention with your kind of oddities if you were to try to travel at Babby on your own.
All right. So, are we sleeping now, or are we gonna go ahead and make a portal to our? I mean, I feel like we get our ship is right above the capital, and we gotta get. We do have to get some cash. Do you remember how much cash it was? We might have cash enough before we try to sell this stuff.
We need 325 to get the broom. How much? Forgot how much of the displacer beast powder, both powder we need. Like
How
gold
much the
value
cost? Yeah,
per
how much
thing.
it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Look that up for you. That is. That's the displacer beast, bone dust, and the bauble. That's for identify. That's what you're looking for there. Is that what you're trying, or are you trying to get teleportations?
Teleportation.
No, the teleportations. The circle of return says powdered bone of displacer beast.
Oh, they both are. I didn't notice.
I didn't notice that was on the identify.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Never
No,
mind.
it's
In
the
my
owl
notes.
feather.
Yeah. Okay. In my notes, I was referring that you were trying to buy both things at one point a long time ago. And I didn't put a comma or anything there. It was just basically that you were trying to buy both things, not that they were for the same spell. So, all right. Anyways, then as far as costs on that,
50.
I think it was around 100 per cast gold worth, but you've been given it usually by Ozzy. He's just not here right now. I think he had given you his last of it anyways, hadn't he?
That Oz is just getting fucking annoyed.
Yeah,
Seriously?
He wanted us to buy him some, remember?
Every time he has to go
Yep.
kill a displacer beast and fucking muddle its bones.
He's just sitting there with a mortar and pestle, just crashing, cracking them up, trying to get the marrow out and everything.
So are we gonna say 100 GP per?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna change that on my little circular turn spell.
So we need a few uses of that, and then 325 for the broom. I don't know what else anybody else needs. Anything
How much
anybody else needs?
cash does everyone have?
Okay, so I'd put you wanted the 3 baubles at silver, so that was 2 that was bought. we had put a down payment of 275 on the broom, and they said the broom would be between 300 and 405 and 600. And then the hat with the small invisible animal would
You already
be
bought
paid
that.
for.
Yeah.
So okay, I need to add this then. We only need the to finish paying off the broom.
Yeah, you already bought everything else that you wanted. I thought that you had left them there.
Yeah, I thought we
bring
had left
back,
them
but-
there. We're gonna pick everything up at the same time.
Well, I mean, it makes sense for you to have taken them anyways. I don't remember specifically why I was thinking you guys had left them behind. But if you guys did pick them up, I added the shield to Pogo's inventory already, anyways, just in case. So
Yeah, I definitely would have taken the shield. There's no reason I wouldn't have.
the other things you guys were looking at, this was in Fox's notes as well. There were two invisibility cloaks that were 500 gold each. They're two different styles, but they're functionally the same. There were 500 gold each. Enchanted tankards for unlimited water, ale, etc., similar to the alchemy jug that you guys already have. Those were 30 gold each.
Yeah.
I think Pogo was
Wanted one
wanting...
just in case we get into like another desert situation.
well, I mean, you are headed there. What's the featherfall at 200 gold? Was that a ring or something? I don't remember that specifically.
It was an item for featherfall, yeah, but I wasn't sure what it was anymore.
Let me find it. It would probably be a ring. I don't have that in my notes from the shopping. I probably mentioned it, but I didn't make a note of it. But that's fine.
I don't remember what it was, so I just put it as
the price is appropriate anyways. So, but those were options that you guys were, or other items you guys were looking at. So, but go right ahead. What are you guys doing?
Well, I think we have enough cash to get the things we need. I'm assuming. How much money does everyone have? I have 210 total if you count my platinum.
I'm pretty much broke. Very small amount of silver.
Sarah's got 6 gold because she gave most of it to her dad.
I have.
We don't have a chest anywhere here, do we? Like a community chest?
No.
Oh, we each have one in our rooms though.
Mine's
Where you
empty.
put it in.
I'm looking at my notes to see if I can see where that's at here.
You
Let's see
mean
the chest.
like party inventory type thing? That's the bag of holding.
Oh, the bag of holding.
I have 185 gold.
Okay, there it is.
Norok was about to say something.
But
I have 10 gold bars on it. So we're
Wait,
probably
10 gold bars?
Yeah,
He still has gold bars from the
we're probably
Doom.
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. There.
He's
we got
been
one.
he's been lugging around 500 pounds of
Listen,
gold bars in his backpack,
Nora,
and nobody
That's
knows.
better.
Nora,
Appreciate it.
You can't take it with you, big fella. You can't take it with you.
I was saving it for a rainy day. Aren't you glad I saved it? Look at this.
It's storming out. You have regular coins too, G. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. So, as
I mean,
the DM,
that
I'm saying
is
that to Ben.
510
Freaking
gold.
smelter.
As the DM, I'm saying that to Ben. Ben, you as Norok does not need to be revealing this to the group if he doesn't want to. I just was pointing those out in case you were, if you wanted to.
No, it's
Because that
perfectly
you
fine.
probably have enough coins that you wouldn't need to use the bars if you wanted to save the bars still.
Okay, how much is the platinum? Is that 10 or 100 gold?
10 each.
Okay, so I've got a couple of platinum, like 130 gold, so I got 150 gold too.
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so his
So we
150
could-
and my 90 gold.
I knew that would happen.
Probably fine.
So we could, in theory, get a thing of featherfall. I wanted the enchanted tankard, and did anybody want a cloak of invisibility?
I can do that just with my magic.
Yeah, but sometimes, like, if I do pass without trace and I can't do invisibility at the same time, it might be useful, like, pass without trace and invisibility.
Well, then I suppose compare it to, what other items we have. Because right now, I'll be honest, I have a few things that I'm not even going to use. Like, I have this pearl that gives me back some magical abilities, but I've got my new shield now, so I'm going to use that. So I don't need the pearl. I still have, I have this lithic of life thieving. I've got my hat of disguise. I got things that require attunement that I don't think. I think I'd rather have them instead of the the cloak.
Does the
so
cloak require attunement though? I thought it didn't.
No, the cloak does. The ring doesn't. Well, sorry, sorry, not a ring. The feather doesn't. It is a, the feather does not. You just have to have it on you. You don't even have to be holding it. I will tell you though that you have an idea of how it would function and that it would prevent you it would slow fall permanently, not just feather fall, and you can't activate or deactivate it. If you're holding on to it, you fall slowly. Which, if you needed to move fast for whatever reason, that could be a problem if you're trying to move down.
a hilarious problem, though.
Okay.
Like,
The cartoon
one of
is-
those things that may never come up, but if it did, it would be so funny.
Yeah, well, my thought was like,
No,
you
it makes
run off of a cliff
sense.
and then you're like slowly moving down. You could move down on an angle or whatever, but yeah, definitely in the event that you needed to move fast or fall quickly, rather, you would have to throw it away or drop it so that you would no longer holding it and then you'd fall normal.
Would you be able to just put it in your bag?
No, if it's on your body at all, then you fall slowly while carrying it. Any downward movement, including elevators.
Okay, then. Okay, I'll just get the tankard then. Thank you.
I think it'd be funny, but all right.
I do agree with you, Jeremy. I do think it may never happen, but the one time
The one time it did, exactly.
it would
Yeah,
be real
because
funny.
people would forget, and I'd remember, and then it would fuck somebody, and that would make me laugh.
Run! You gotta jump in the river, and then just oh god, just slow. They just like, help them with arrows. It would be pretty
While a child drowns, of
Yeah.
course. All right, then let's.
What's with you and children drowning and dying?
It's
Jeez.
a real thing, and
Honestly, it's
sometimes funny.
it's more of a picking on Becky thing because it happened so many times for some reason in the first campaign. It hasn't happened much since, but it happened like 3 or 4 times, and it's one of those. I hate when people repeat that same stupid joke of it's not that if I had a nickel for every time, it's not that many, but it's just weird that it happened X number of times. That's what it
Yeah.
was. It was weird that it happened so many times. Yeah, exactly. A puppy drowning a kid. All right, so I don't know. We don't need to hand wave necessarily, but we can do just so we can kind of get some stuff moving here. What's the plan? You guys are going to the city. I'm going. We'll make a couple of checks on sneaking in basically. But what's the plan there? And then are you taking Avar and Theodore with you?
All right, so we're going to the ship first, right?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So you're
And then
teleporting
we're
yourself to
going
the ship with Avar
down
and
to the
Theodore.
city. Yeah, because they can just stay on the ship while we're in town.
Okay. And Arteme going with you?
That's what I'm wondering. Am I going to be back within a day to be able to do the next regen?
Well, were we gonna leave you there and then the rest of us, or leave whoever here, and then just take a long rest on the way to pick you up?
That would work too. Like, that's what I'm asking on how you guys are doing this, because I would have to give you guys the money for the tankard, because I didn't pay for that yet.
You
Because I want a
don't-
tankard of water.
Don't want to half cook that regen. They're gonna get some wonky limbs.
It grows back all scarred up and fucked up with
Oh wait,
extra toes and shit.
wouldn't the regen also be upcast? So would it be more than 20% with the upcast, or no? Or did
No,
you
that was
take
with
into
it
consideration-
because when you healed my EB, I'm basing it off of just an estimate that you're getting because you did a very similar kind of healing on my EB, and that took you a week.
Oh yeah,
but
no,
that
I'm
did
just,
include the Witch's
I
bonus.
keep forgetting about the upcast, so I'm just making sure that it wasn't forgotten.
Yeah, yeah, that included it this time because you used that in the first place with my EB as well. So
Perfect. Okay.
okay. Then I guess so to kind of accelerate things a little bit over some of this here. Returning to the city, Artemis staying behind. Everybody else is going to the city, including Avar and Theodore. Well, are going at least to the Sevastopol then.
Yeah.
All right. So then, what is the plan? You guys are back on the ship. You guys are just outside the city. What's the plan for getting in there and getting the broom? I guess walk me through what your idea is there.
So I still have a 5th level spell. I can cast Seeming on whoever's going to go in. It will not
not
work in
gonna
the
work.
shop, but it should work outside the city, like in
Okay.
the city itself.
The
Okay.
city, yes.
Right.
I could also summon. I could summon Peter. He's probably still. I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure if he's made it out of the sewers. But I can summon.
You do.
Peter.
You know that he made it out of the sewers. Yeah.
Oh, he made it out of the sewers.
You would
might be
know
a
if he
little
died. So.
sleepy. He might be a little upset, but he'll get over it. Like I feel like he'll be happy that I told him to run and flee. And then he can come meet us at the ship and fly us down. Just drop us off in town.
I mean, but didn't we use him to fly away when the Juthrins were after us?
I don't think they saw any of that.
Didn't they see Pedro? Yeah.
They definitely
Giant
did.
griffin?
They
Yeah.
for sure did.
Aren't there griffins fucking
They
everywhere?
definitely saw the griffin after they set that place on fire.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like, aren't griffins just like a normal thing? Like, it's like if you saw like.
Yeah, I mean, well, it would be like seeing. I wouldn't say not like seeing cars. I guess like seeing a helicopter in the real world, kind of.
Yeah.
For people like us that live in fucking Sacramento, where there's helicopters, at least 3 overhead at any given time.
And like, if you think about it, we'll go fly down, and what are they? It's like, oh, we gotta inspect every single one. That I think will be all right.
Wait, why is there so
Okay.
many helicopters?
Well,
We live in a very lovely area.
we live in a very shitty area. Yeah, exactly.
Me and Jeremy specifically, we live like 900 yards from each other.
Yeah.
It's like entertainment.
There's a freeway, but I could almost throw a rock and hit Justin's house
Yeah.
from here. So
Oh, okay, gotcha.
yeah.
Because
We
like
could
I see some
definitely
occasionally
put some sort of
from
thing
the
on our roofs to
hospital,
hit each other.
but that's about it.
All right, so taking Peter down then, or Pietro, that is 1 pogo, 2 halflings, and a full size, but not a Norok unless he's by himself.
Yeah, no, I
we
think we
having
should
to
go in
disguise ourselves?
small, just a couple of us.
Yeah, disguises are still questionable as well. Sarah had mentioned that, so
And I
Yeah,
can
so-
actually, I can
I'll cast
make all of us invisible. I've got enough slots. I can make me, you, and Pietro. A third person, if PT can cover it, I can make us all invisible.
I skipped that episode because of the fucking singing, but that was an amusing start.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, I fucking hate musicals so much, though. I cannot tolerate that
Oh,
shit.
me too.
That
They're
was
irritating.
That was my only exception. I can't stand musicals, but
Yeah.
I only have like maybe 3 exceptions. That's one of them.
So, Pietro, I guess, so who all is going down then?
I'll go.
Sarah, Pogo, and then Nazim then? Norok staying behind? With
I'll go
Avar
as
and
long as
Theodore?
I long rest.
Norok
long
will
rest
still be on
from
the
there.
ship.
I assume, right?
Well, if you teleported to the ship, you guys have not had
We
a long
haven't.
rest yet.
Yeah.
Arteme did, because she only needs 4 hours
Yeah, I still need a long rest.
before going into the city.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
so
I
then
would
it-
love a long rest. Do you guys want to
Yeah.
do you want to just do this in the morning? I mean, it's evening time now. The shop's probably not even going to be open
Yeah.
for much longer, if it's still
There's
open.
nothing suspicious about a whole
but
group of
that-
people with a chest
Also,
full of
I'm
gems
pretty
at 3 in the morning.
Everybody bleeding out the ears and everything too, Sako.
Don't we have to give it another day anyways? Aren't we jumping the gun? Then isn't it not even going to be ready till tomorrow?
It's still only Wednesday afternoon. You were told Thursday at the very least. So,
right.
yeah.
So let's sleep
okay.
here at the fort.
Wednesday evening now, but
We'll let
How
your
long would
father
it
and
take
Avar
to-
go.
Should we drop them off first and just come back to the city?
are you taking them to Mito or to Gwynsair?
I thought we were
Dude.
taking them to meet him.
We can go.
Are we
Well, you don't
taking
have
them to
Arteme.
Gwynsair?
You don't have Arteme with you. So if you were going to go to Gwynsair, that would be a little weird. If you're just like, "Hey, our friend said you'd be okay with watching these two for a while," and you just drop them off.
Trap house. ass shit right
Yeah, really.
there.
With,
This is Wonky
with Arteme's
Nazim. Hang out in the ship.
aid.
All right,
So-
how is Nazim 2 inside doing anyway? Are they
Um,
getting along?
Waiting on us.
You have, I would say, not direct communication, but he's been bored and otherwise kind of spending a lot of time trying to teach Sai tricks and things like that. Because you'd sent Sai back to keep him
Yeah.
entertained.
Keeping company.
Yeah, but other than that, he seems fine. At least in the communication they've had via Sai.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to check in because yeah.
All right, so then in that case, what's the idea? So you guys long resting on the ship first, then, and then going in the morning.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, go ahead and apply your long
Yes, move
rests.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get a little bit in tonight of what I did. This is all right. What I mentioned last week about how I wanted to try to kind of not hand wave, but try to get past some of the
This stuff?
mundanity, I guess. This is what I was referring to. Exactly. We're like an hour in now, and I was hoping to get, but that's fine. And none of like this is all fun too. I'm not saying it isn't. Like I enjoy the character development stuff as well, but I do want to kind of get moved a little bit. So yeah, go ahead and apply your long rests for everybody there. Arteme, you already did, so you won't have another long rest today, even though you're not here, of course. But you already have your long rest minus the spell slot for regeneration.
While they're doing that, I'm just going to work on my to-do list.
Okay. Make a, I guess, sleight of hand check, Fox.
That reminds me, I also need to keep working on sleight of hand.
I'd say that this is a little bit of practice. You're kind of using it, so in a functional manner. Not great. You're trying to cut the this kind of leather. What's sort of like rawhide, I guess, stencil out, and it's just not going smoothly.
I was going to check on it, see if it was dry enough, because I had a few pieces drying in
the
you
tower. Do. Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect.
You definitely did, and that's what you're trying to use to make this from the hunting you had done a while ago. But you're probably going to need Sarah's help in that she's a lot more familiar with the specific shape of the runes. You know that these aren't quite right, and with her help, you could probably pull that off. But it is more practice, at least for sleight of hand, so it's going to take more time. All right, so morning comes in. It is Thane's Day in the morning. Pogo, when you're back...
I am back.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say go ahead and apply your long rest. All right, so morning comes. Norok, Pietro up on the ship. You could take him by yourself, but otherwise, you're too heavy to go down on the Griffin. So what's the plan? Everybody's got your spell slots back.
I mean, we could turn Norok into a frog temporarily. I know I feel bad for the guy, but we could put him in a jar, and then if needed,
with a stick and a leaf to represent his environment.
Yeah, so we can put in some sticks and twigs, or maybe a wicker box, and then if we get in trouble, we throw the box, and then the frog inside turns into Norok, and he's like a human missile.
All right, that's fine. Just don't forget to
Here's the thing. We're going to be down there, Norok, for
yeah, really.
We're going to be
You
down
mean
there
he's
for
a grog
45
missile?
minutes.
Yeah.
We'll be down there for 45 minutes, then we'll be back up here and we can go back to normal.
That's fine,
you-
Dave.
If you forget to poke a hole in the lid, then he chokes to death, and then he just explodes while you guys are on the
That's why I
Griffin.
put it to like a wicker box if we have some sort of wicker.
Whoever's
Right.
carrying him gets squished underneath him.
Okay. All right. So you turn Norok into a frog, then. And as long as you're agreeing to that, and you make your way down, flying down into the city via the Griffin. The intent was for the rest of the group to be using seaming, right, Becky?
I'm gonna roll a d4 really quick.
Are
for
we
my stuff.
using steaming?
Yeah. Go ahead, Sokka.
That's... Yeah. So
Whatever. Disguise means you want to use.
Real quick, also, I'm going to tell a story before we head out to my shield. Can I roll for it?
Yeah. Performance check.
Performance, yeah.
who's polymorphing
Nice.
Norok?
Yes.
All right. So you get the full benefit there. The last one was 22, wasn't it? There were 3 different lines, 3 different difficulty checks, or thresholds, I guess, Justin. And I think the last one was 22, if I remember right.
It is. So I get a +3 to AC, and I am immune to multiple types of damage for an hour.
Not immune, resistant to.
Resistant, not immune. Sorry.
Yeah, the three mundane. What's the story that you tell him?
I'm going to tell him the story of the giant that attacked the castle. I was going to be talking about, basically, I'm gonna embellish Norok fighting a 60-foot giant and getting thrown into a castle and being knocked completely unconscious. And then the rest of the group, like a Power Rangers motif, is how I'm going to kind of describe the story.
So the reason that I asked that question is the shield, if you succeed high enough, which you did, not only does it give you resistance to slashing, bludgeoning, and piercing, but it also chooses one other resistance based on the other damage type on the story. Well, those giants, those Fomorians, were undead, and therefore it'll be necrotic. Is the other damage type. So that shield will, as you finish the story, begins to float around you and just kind of floats nearby. So you don't need it.
I don't have to hold it. I got both my hands.
Yeah.
It also deflects people within 5 feet of me as well.
Yeah, as long as you roll high enough, which you did on your storytelling. Anybody that is within 5 feet of Pogo, the shield will try to protect them as well,
We got a
giving you
+3
+3 to the AC and those resistances, those same resistances. But it depends on how well he does on his storytelling. This time he rolled high enough
So
to get all of
Pogo
them.
might
So-
actually stay next to some of y'all.
Well, that's the risk
Pogo's
is that
running and hiding.
Pogo is very small and squishy. So if he's
Yeah.
in the thick of it, that could be a problem. But in the event that you're nearby someone, you can also impart the shield's benefits to them as well. So, all right. So you guys fly down into the city. We'll just say it just for the sake of trying to kind of get things moving here. You make your way down there. Just Nazim, sorry, all of you actually, because Norok is going to remain in frog form, I suppose, unless the plan is to revert back in the city.
No,
Go down?
I'm just because it might be easier to not have Yogg running around
Okay.
in the city.
Uh,
So just keep me in a pet mode for now.
So, good point, because I was going to mention that Yogg are rare enough that seeing one walking around, even with seeming on, is still going to be very tall. So, anyways, all right, so you're making your way through the city then to the, God damn, it's a something lantern. I'm not going to look it up. I'm going to try to get somewhere tonight. You make your way through, get the broom, go ahead and mark out that much gold. It was 325 that you still had to pay for.
Don't forget to get my tankard, please.
Okay, and you're
And
picking up a
we-
tankard for Arteme, which is another 30.
We need
What's
a
that?
couple, at least a couple uses of displacer bone dust.
They sell that. You were aware of that when you were here before.
We're
So you were
officially
at
out.
yes, you're 355 before the bone dusts. We're just going to round it to 100 gold each for the materials needed for it. So how many? Because you're 355 gold right now, just for broom and tankard. And you did, yeah. You used one to get here, I assume, right? Becky, you'd marked that off to get to the ship.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
the last one
Okay.
that I had. I don't know, maybe one each for me and Pogo? Unless anybody else wants any? For emergencies?
Ozzy wanted a bit.
Oh, then maybe we should get one. Maybe you have two and I have one. You're better at that than I am usually, anyways. But it would be nice to have 3.
That'd be 655 total gold. So we need to keep track of who's.
I gave you my 90, and
You're 90. Huh?
and we get Norok. I'm assuming we got Norok's gold before we
Yeah.
some
I'll
couple.
keep in 100 for one for Ozzy.
Okay, so you sent 130 gold then, Fox?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so that if that's 3 of them, that's 655. And Fox sent 130. That's 525 gold that still needs to come out of everybody else's pockets between you guys. So,
I have 6 gold.
So, all right,
I'm 11 silver.
I have 210. You can have the full 210. So I'm giving you 210 gold.
all right, Pogo's putting in 210. You still have that full chest of jewels and everything too.
Yeah.
So that's 315 left. So Norok and Nazim.
I got 150 just in coin, and then I got those bars that we can dip into if we need to, and then those gems, I guess. So
Yeah, I've got
Are you
like
putting in another coin?
yeah, I can drop into 150 coin easy.
All right, so that's 165 left. That'd be 3. Well, 3 bars. You'd have some left over. So
there we go.
Uh,
I got 11. I got 10 silver. I don't have any gold
Yeah, I
on
think
my
there's
own.
some in the bag of holding too.
I mean, you can't send it to them unless you had thought ahead of time to
I
give
would
it.
have done it beforehand. Why can't I see the inventory? All I see is attribute features spell book for the bag of holding. not
The
giving
add-on
me the
broke.
inventory.
Click on inventory. Oh, you don't see an inventory tab?
Oh, the inventory button's not there. It's literally gone, disappeared, poof.
Oh, click on features and then scroll down.
And I will put in 6 gold. Big old whop of 6 gold.
There's still nothing for the.
You don't see it if you click on features and then scroll down?
Yeah, there's still no gold.
Oh. The add-on is broken for the mod. And I don't remember how much coins you had in there. I might have to...
I just checked it earlier, and then yeah, I don't know.
Where is that? There used to be a field for it, and I don't see it, so I don't know if that's just another add-on that's broken or what. That's fine. It wasn't much. You guys didn't have much in coinage in the bag. All right, so
180
160
or something. So, yeah.
I didn't think it was that high. I thought it was like 10, like around there.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I see too, Fox. That's fine. I'll get it figured out. Then mark off those that you have, Ben. That's just all your coins. And then mark off 2 bars, and we'll just say the rest came out of the bag. And then Sarah, none from you and none from Nazim. Just because you guys didn't have any, so... All right. So, you guys do have your broom back. It is now repaired. As she hands it to you, never mind, Artemis not there, and Sarah doesn't have the same connection with it. It doesn't feel as trembly. It feels a little more confident. I guess is how I'd put that in the kind of sense that you can get from the broom. The broom tanker, yeah, you guys, I guess if that's it, you're not buying anything else then, right? You're not buying the feather or the cloaks, nothing else?
I don't think so.
Yep. You can always come back later anyway, so.
Yeah, don't forget to put back the egg and feed it. I know Sarah's not going to want to, so somebody else is going to have to, because the mimic creeps are out.
That's just probably not going to happen.
I think it's going to be hungry until it's back with you.
At this point, I think Sarah's a little bit more accepting, because she realizes how much she missed her broom. She will put them on there for you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, you pull out the
It's
coins.
just the one
then.
egg, yeah.
I thought it was 2. Didn't you have 2?
Yeah, I thought it was 2.
Did I put 2? Oh, I
Yeah.
might have put 2 then.
Um,
Right, because
you-
when we got more people
Pogo,
to
by the
join
way,
party.
Pogo is holding Norak in whatever container, and he's ready to fucking go. Like, just go.
in case you need to launch a frog at somebody.
Leave quickly. Just quick. Appreciate all your time, but we have things to do. Brunch.
All right, you guys finish your little shopping trip. Then you do have the broom back now. Finally, that likely would have been very useful at previous interventions there. But
Yeah,
all right,
I need to
so
change it from broken.
yeah, I'll update the notes on it too. In fact, I'll make a note of that. Update broken broomic.
Remick.
All right. All right, so you guys are making your way then east to Meadow. Again, unless there's... Okay, do you have anything specific you want to do in regards to setting them up in a particular way? Are you just, kind of getting a room for them at a tavern, or what?
Fuck, I got 4 gold to give your dad.
Yeah, I got 6. Since
All right, well, that's 10 gold. That's 10.
10 gold goes a long way in a little,
Yeah.
little
10,
town.
That's 10, at least
I
10
would say.
days of comfort.
Alright. And then just ask the innkeeper maybe if he knows of any work around town, not too much physical labor, but something my dad would be good at.
Okay.
He
All right,
probably do physical labor, probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a farming area anyway, so, I mean, you can easily find, chucking hay bales and shit like that for them. So that well, not for Theodore necessarily, but at least for Avar. But you find kind of simple accommodations for them, and then possibly a job the following day. It is getting late in the evening at this point. So you oh no, I'm sorry, this is following morning, so it's midday-ish at this point, I guess, to get there. So you drop them off. Next step. What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna give him a really big hug before I leave and just slip a note into his pocket, and I haven't actually thought about what I want in my note yet, so I will email it to you later.
I'll say that he definitely has noticed the distance and has been trying not to push, and he's not necessarily sure why. So he definitely looks very happy that you slipped him a note, kind of expecting that this might be kind of an explanation or something.
Yeah.
So, right, but he gives you a big hug back.
I'm going to give him my elven shield as something he can use.
I sure hope you don't expect I'll be needing this thing.
No, this is something. Just say it's a family heirloom and hold on to it. Keep
Elvish?
it safe. Use
Family
it-
heirloom?
Yeah. People just you tell them that hundreds of years
My ears
ago.
don't point. Look at these.
Yeah. You know what? You were adopted. All right. They loved you very much. But listen, if you get into a jam, you can sell it too. You can just something you can hold on to. I'm gonna go and
Keep
give
it
him that
safe.
one.
Thanks, Pogo.
All right.
You guys
Yeah.
be safe.
You too.
All right, and you guys heading back to the Crow Fort to pick up Artemis?
We're
Yep.
flying the Sevastopol back to the Crow Fort, I believe, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Right, so we'll call that another 4 hours. So at this point, it is early afternoon on Thane's Day, and you have arrived back at the Crow Fort. Arteme,
Does it really only take 4 hours to fly from there to back to the place?
Yep.
Man, this is
I'm gonna
a
have done the next
possibility.
regen.
Yeah, it would be the next day by this point, so it would be about time for the next 24 hours. Fox.
So what I'll do is I'm gonna upcast it to level 8 plus the upcast from.
You can't break 9, really 10, kind of, and 10 is kind of ascended level spells. So yeah,
Okay.
that's about as high as you can go. So I wouldn't waste a spell slot higher than that. You're certainly welcome to
Okay.
do so. I'm just going to tell you that you still feel like it's going to take, with your full efforts, it's going to take you, a week. And this is day 2. We'll call it 6 or 7 days, like depending on some rolls and stuff. So go ahead and make a medicine check with advantage. What was your D4 for, Pogo?
To add charges to my my ocarina.
Okay. And Nazim.
It's only at 7.
Yeah, Nazim already rolled for this day actually, but depending on what you're doing,
For
geez,
this
a
day,
natural 20 bucks.
Yeah,
This is still exactly. Yeah, this is still Thane's Day, so you're I forgot you'd already rolled it for today. So, all right, so it is kind of afternoon, kind of late afternoon at this point. What are you guys doing?
Great roll, by the way.
Yeah. Are you guys heading south immediately? What's the plan?
I'm ready to go,
where's
yeah.
Arteme? Where's Arteme with this? We have our Sevastopol. And
Before we leave the Crow Fort, we've resolved the whole magic eye situation with our good friend in the cheese cellar, right? Everything's good?
no, we have not.
Mm-mm.
Gonna leave this man in the cheese cellar?
You did tell him that you would be back to bring him food and everything, so he doesn't have to leave, and then you just left him for
Yeah.
I like to think we would have at least we have Albert or whatever the fuck. his
Abraham.
name
If you warned Abraham to feed him, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he is going to get bored, and I'll tell Pogo you would understand that he's not going to stay in there
is.
forever.
No, but a day.
Yeah, I mean a day is fine, but 3-4 days he's going to start getting antsy, and then things are going to go missing, and then he's going to hop over a wall and then probably get eaten.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. If we just got back, I will have
Watch
to
that
go
digestion.
see if there's any. I'm gonna spend the time looking around for any medical, magical ways at the Crow Fort, people or items or something that might shed some light on his eye situation to get them better. Something.
Maibe had given you some input that she was willing to try to reverse the enchantment essentially on it, but the concern is that if she fails or if she doesn't succeed as strongly, let's say as you might otherwise need, it might make him blind whether it damages the eyes or not.
Yeah, but I also feel like I could get them if they're blind. It's like an oopsie, but we can get it fixed one day.
You're saying if he's blind, just get Arteme to fix him.
That's the thing. I feel like we could all still fix it eventually. Let's do that. I will reach out to maybe.
You're not going to ask him
No,
if he's
no,
willing to
yeah.
potentially give up his eyes?
I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna say, listen, this is something we can do. We don't know enough information to know. I'll give you these choices. We can drop you off wherever you want, but I don't know how far the reach of the people who were putting this on you. I don't know if they'll be able to find you or if they'll look for you other places. So it's up to you. Would you rather have us drop you off somewhere, or do you want us to try?
I want their leash off me, and I mean, if you're confident that your pretty friend will be able to fix it if things go wrong, I mean, I'd rather that than try to live this way hiding forever.
Pretty good about it.
All right. I would say that Pogo would actually be confident and not necessarily need deception, but maybe just relies on it for this kind of
I'm
situation.
not feeling that confident, but I feel like, you know what, we're gonna give it a try. I gave him the options.
Okay.
This is sometimes how life rolls out when you live in this day and age.
Then you introduce him to Maibe, and she offers to, at least while she's still recuperating a bit anyway, spend a day or two working with him to try to, do what she can to reverse the enchantment without hopefully blinding him. And then, you'll need to check back in potentially in a couple of days. So.
Oh, days?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's not a quick process.
All right. Well,
Yeah, it's a
she's doing that.
disenchantment without blowing up an
All right. Listen,
organ. So
if you do get weird in the eyes, we might be able to still fix it afterwards, but she'll do her best. And good luck. That's a good luck. Yeah.
All right, then real quick before you guys leave the Crow Fort here, assuming you guys are intending to, Norok and Sarah, kind of. Have you been giving any more thought to what was etched on the hilt of Vulcanbreaker? Has Norok been thinking about that at all?
I think Sarah would have thought about it while trying to avoid her dad, just so she could think about something other than that. But I don't know how far she would have gotten. To be completely honest, Becky the player has no fucking clue. I don't know if she would.
Ben had mentioned a couple of times in texts being on the right track, something that was on the right track there. It's been a little while though, Ben. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Was he the Miotao Smith from, gosh, when we did the tournament thing? In the Miotao camp?
Yeah,
well,
the Miotao guy showed us the etching that was on there and read it to us, I think.
Was it something about stars?
Yeah,
it is something about stars. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no clue.
I have it written down somewhere.
Well, Becky, you mentioned exactly what was written on there, not too long ago, a few months ago. But specifically, whether you guys are following up on it is the question. What it says in an ancient Mephuan dialect, the Mephuans disappeared that culture disappeared about 400 years ago, but they were around for 1,500 years or so. So this is a very old, kind of on the far end, not on the 400-year end, dialect. And it says, "Seek the sky where all the lights are stars."
Yeah, I don't know what that's referring to.
And
myself, so I don't know if Sarah would figure it out.
That's fine. That's totally fine. I was curious if you guys were going to.
Does that have anything to do with the? I can't remember his name. The jellyfish dude, because he has almost like a galaxy of stars in this little. I don't know if it's a dome. I don't know.
The jelly cap.
Cap.
Yeah, it's a jelly cap, is what you're referring to in the dome, and the jellyfish of the Finn is his name. Anyways,
the mountains where all the lights are stars. Sorry, it took me a minute.
Yeah, it's in the. I just put it in the chat there.
Oh.
Sorry, yeah, but the way that it's written in there, but there's also
word,
there was a bit. I think where was scratched out actually. So I think I messed up actually by not having the part scratched out in my notes. Sorry, because I know what it was. You guys didn't know the word where. We'll just say that you guys kind of pieced together that might be the word. But the first bit is all lowercase. The first S would actually be lowercase as well, and then the rest is capitalized as it is written there.
Yeah, is that an acronym for Atlas?
You don't know. I mean, potentially, but obviously it's written in a dialect that you wouldn't normally speak. But that's what the letters would represent. Yes, and on top of that, right above that, are a series. It's a line with circles. So there's like a circle, a line around it that runs off to it. That line goes straight to another circle with a line around it, and then it's kind of a weird shape. Looks like a constellation.
Okay.
Could I make like a history or arcana check to see if any of that pops out?
Yeah, here's the thing. You have before, but I would say that it's been long enough now that this wouldn't be, dogpiling, where you're making multiple checks for the same thing. So go ahead and make another one. You know what? Actually, Norok, you should make one as well, and the DC is probably going to be lower for you, specifically because of your habitat, where your people are from.
All right, that was history, right?
History?
Yeah, both of you make history checks. Norok with advantage.
Ugh.
Oh, natural 20. What's that?
Why do you still have?
Yeah,
Fox
you
had one
have.
too.
Exhausted.
Fox, I took hers off. She
Okay.
had exhaustion, and the running a long rest doesn't automatically fix it, so I had to take it off for her. And you probably have the same. Yeah, you still had an exhaustion. All right, taking that off too, which makes that a natural 20. I'm gonna say then with a natural 20, you have 0 modifier, but it's still 20 because the 3, the -3 would not be there because you weren't still exhausted after you guys had a long rest. The line vaguely represents a constellation that you would recognize in the far to the southern sky, but you never see the whole thing. It's like half of it's cut off because it's too far to the south. I'm saying that specifically in that you would recognize a portion of this constellation, and in that the line over the text looks like half of the constellation that you're familiar with. that just being living up in the mountains and on a clear night, you can see all of these stars, and you would recognize that. But it's backwards, so it's half of this constellation, but like mirrored in reverse.
Okay.
That's it. That's as much as you guys get from your intelligence checks. So do with that what you will. But
by the way, how's the Tatujin doing up on our little ship?
I mean, he's
was he doing all right?
I mean,
walking around enjoying himself?
No, not walking around at all. Totally like frozen. Like I mean, what's the word? Not conscious, I guess, but basically conscious in the sense that there's clearly interaction there, but not moving or anything else. It's just
with itself,
stuck in a corner.
5 or 6 left in there, just hanging out.
Yeah, however many are still in the crystal. Yeah, you still see
that
faces.
will not haunt us forever.
That you genocided an entire people. We do our best to not genocide people.
I mean, I like to think they know they were,
they were doomed. Yeah, I mean, they had, they had already been, kind of trapped in these last remaining Tatujin, armored suits, basically for hundreds of years before the balance team even showed up and wiped out the rest of their species.
You see, you sit at a table with 1 Tatujin crystal, and you're actually sitting with 10 million.
So, Sarah, Norok, you guys kind of staring at the thing, you recognize that it is backwards, but it is, probably represent a constellation that you would maybe be able to see better from the south, just not, where you were in when you would typically see it on Sear Top. G.
It's great, because that's where we're headed.
You are headed south, which is part of the reason that I mentioned that. So, I mentioned it to Ben a couple of times, that maybe that would be something worth looking into, but... just pointing that out there. But you've picked up Arteme. Anything else you guys are doing at the Crow Fort before flying south?
I'm spending a decent amount of time cleaning PT because he's gross.
Okay. I would say that with all the snow, he's pretty easy to kind of rub it into his fur and then kind of, clean it out.
Get him clean.
Yeah.
How did the research go? Because I was going to do research on other items in the library.
So there are other arcs that are attuned to Denel, but they're in and out of history. They're kind of legendary items to begin with, and they're the only, let's say, solid one that exists is the one that you're wearing. But there are likely others, but who knows where they would be? There isn't current representation.
Okay, but what about something that just helps me concentrate on 2 spells at once?
That's the bigger factor than the upcasting. Upcasting is a little more feasible, just not to 3 levels.
But even if I just get something that helps me upcast 2 levels, and then something that helps me concentrate like 2 different items, even if it's 2 different items, that'd be fine.
Extremely valuable, but not unheard of. And I mean, powerful mages typically have arcs like that upcast spells. Not necessarily attuned to Denel specifically, but arcs for making spells more powerful than they typically would be.
So it is possible to find. Gotcha.
Yeah, the concentration is the tougher part. That's something you don't really see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the concentration, it could be a different item than the upcasting. So.
Yeah, I mean, finding them together is really unheard of. The Wood Sage's Course is the only one you've ever heard of with such a thing. But multiple concentrations is not a common enchantable trait. That's something that kind of requires divine input of some sort, and that's how the Wood Sage's Course came about.
On how if I'd be able to make one. But anyway, so plan for on the ship while we travel. I'm gonna have to be back for the next regen session, and
when's that?
I was gonna ask tomorrow, and I was gonna ask Sarah for help with the leather.
Yeah.
So at this point, you guys get back here and to pick up Arteme, and it is evening. It's late afternoon, early evening. Let's say like 6 o'clock at this point. After you guys
Maybe
have
was
done
coming
some...
with us too. Yes.
No, it's just us.
And maybe he's going to spend
Gotcha.
a few days working on Garrep, and maybe he's not going to be better for at least another week or 2.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, we're going to go try to get this thing that she was talking about.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you guys, she
She
did
would
warn you
have
to expect it to be dangerous because this isn't an occupied tomb, presumably. I guess is the nice way of her saying that, and that this is Vabi, so don't expect that the dead will remain that way. And this tomb, unless it's been raided, would be
rough
well
crowds
defended.
in Vabi. Rough crowds.
I have a question.
Mhm.
This amulet of expel. So it says when you harm a creature not native to the plane you are currently occupy, you inflict an additional 2d8 force damage. Does that zombies would still be like undead would still be considered of this plane? Yes.
Yeah, they're still native to this plane. The
Assuming they're
human that
undead
they
now.
were. Yeah, I mean, if they were, an elemental undead or something like that, like anything from a different plane, then it would still expel them. Yes, but a zombie is just a dead person that was dead here, native to this plane, born on this planet, presumably, and then resurrected. So yeah, it would not function in that sense.
You know who we never found? Did we ever figure out what happened to Old Magus, where Clova originally was working with or staying at? Did we ever even look at that, or did we just fucking get? We didn't have time because everyone got kidnapped.
Yeah, we never looked into it at
I
all.
don't think we even did that. All right, I'm looking through my notes. I'm like, oh, he might be alive still, maybe.
Is Pogo using his the stone or whatever of life thieving? Is he attuned to that?
Let me see. I don't think I am. Right now I'm using my ocarina. I've got these nifty bracers that have helped out a number of times for me, and then I have my new shield here. So do you want it? Do you want the lithic of life thieving?
I was just thinking it might help better than
Sure.
Iskill's Stridos. Spoiled one.
It does require attunement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna unattune the other one. That's why I asked about it.
Let me know when
Iskill Stridos doesn't require attunement. That's just a potion.
Yeah.
No, but the amulet of expel does.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Oh.
Oh, you meant that it might help more than the spoiled Stridos in the event that you need to heal something. Okay, gotcha.
Yes, and it's not letting me do this. It says cannot read properly.
Yes,
I got an error. Yeah, so it's probably the add-on. I'll drag it over for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
And then I can delete it from my inventory. Just let me know when.
It is good. Go ahead.
Perfect.
And then I will unattune the other one and attune this one.
All right. You know how to do that.
So, by the way, I don't actually use the attunement thing. I just use the equip button just because I don't have to go into the details.
Yeah, it really should be that easy. I think there's probably an add-on to do that, but...
Yeah, I just use the equip buttons. All it is.
I'll take care of it, Vic.
I got it.
Okay.
Nope. Yeah, there it is.
All right. So some attunement adjustments. Are you flying south the evening then? Or are you waiting till the morning? What you guys doing?
We're not going to be able to see it in the evening. We might as well wait till it's daytime.
Yeah, and Arteme has to do another thing in the morning, or no?
Yeah.
Another healing thing?
It's going to take a few more days to finish the healing completely.
So for the time, if we all have a group, I would like to sit us all down and kind of re-go over this whole Gith versus Illithid. Like, we're in this weird, unknown battle between these two presences. Do we have a side? Because I feel like both have attacked us. We've killed a lot of both. Does anyone, from all that we've been through, now that we realize, now that maybe told us about, what they're trying to do in a little bit more details, do we?
Clover did, yeah.
Do we? What do we think about this? Does anyone? I'm actually, what I'm trying to reach out to is, I'm trying to see if, I know as players we might not remember this. Would any of us be able to put other things together with this whole conflict? I think we know that the Thinny in the ocean is what brought the Illithid, correct?
Yes. And you guys have had other clues.
Yeah. And we know we have. Yeah, I've got it up here. Like, we gotta. But we hadn't really bothered looking. We knew it was in the ocean. We knew it's bringing the Illithid.
Okay, so you did piece that together then, right?
Yeah, and that's also, and tell me if I'm wrong, because this is more of a player issue. The giant Illithid squid thing that we killed, that was the
warrior. Yep.
Yeah, the warrior. That was an Illithid that came through, or was that something totally different? Yeah, it was, right?
Yep.
And we know that there's possibly more of those or others of those.
Well, he told you that he was part of the Vanguard, that he was the Vanguard, which is,
other ones.
Yeah.
And are the Illithid something that's actually, in the overall span of time, been here a long time? Or is this something that happened from the big moon
After,
thing.
yeah. So,
like, what would we know as characters in here right now with the Gith and the Illithid if we could get
just like the rumors of the melted people, the thing is, okay, I would say that in real world analogy terms, it would be like as if there had always been rumors of the gray aliens around Roswell, New Mexico, and then one day actual aliens show up who look nothing like that, or at least don't really resemble those gray aliens, but people assume, okay, well, that must have been the same thing, and these are obviously, they've been here since the 1940s and all that kind of shit. That's what's happening with as far as those rumors are concerned. The melted people
like gray aliens and underground lizard people.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The lizard people that are all of our politicians and all that shit, all that stupid. Okay. Yeah. So same thing, except these are actual species who have now shown up. So whether they were here before or not, you don't really know because they've kind of been merged with these rumors that have always been around.
Do we know if either of them? We now know that the Gith are more or less in some level of control of the Empire. We don't know exactly what they plan on doing with it, but we know they're in control. Do we know if the Illithid has any other control or influence over any other area of the world besides, we've already dealt with the one that was on the island of the elves, but have we seen anything in our experience to think that they are in other places in other areas of control? Or is that still up in the air when it comes to what we know?
So I'm going to say something here that Sako may not want to keep.
What would we in this group powwow?
Okay, hang on 1 second then. Nazim, I need to send you, or Sako, I need to send you a message real quick here. Yep. I will tell you. You know what? Here's the thing. What's that?
I'm asking it for everyone else. Is this making sense of why I'm trying to have this conversation with everyone?
It's fine. So Sako, here's the thing. You guys know that he was at least a stalled Ceramorph, right?
Yeah.
So he is a stalled Ceramorph, just like
which is a Illithid.
Which is an Illithid, yes. That's a Illithid procreate by corrupting and
is former Vabi.
Yes, he's from Vabi, and the Illithid attacked villages in Vabi in different places, and he was the result of that, or at least, one that was able to free himself at some point. So you do know that there is a connection between Vabi and the Illithid, and obviously a connection between,
Hop, we don't know.
You have no idea, exactly. Yeah, the only reason you even have the information about you do between the Gith and the Empire is because of the first-hand accounts that you've gotten from Clover, obviously. But yeah, that question is definitely a valid one, and there's the evidence that you do have so far. I will say that, Nazim, that's up to you really on how much you want to share about that. For those details, that would take longer than a chat, and I don't want to just be typing for a little bit here. But that's really, it's up to you on how much you want to share, I guess, about that, at least on the known presence of the Illithid in Vabi, on how much you want to go over there.
And you can choose not to in this, but this is more as Pogo, we have downtime, and he's still trying to he would know things that as a player I've simply forgotten over the last year. So if anyone wants to chime in with any other details, but I feel like that's the bulk of it that we just covered.
That is the majority of at least important kind of bullet points. There's obviously more detail. I will say that in your initial question on which side are you guys on, they don't have neither species have any love for any of the people on this planet. You guys are just in the way.
This is an aliens versus predator thing here.
So it's more or less the aliens are trying to genocide us.
Well, if you guys are they're not after you. They don't care about the species. They're utterly indifferent to the point where they will wipe out the entire planet just to try to wipe out the Illithid or the Gith, basically.
That's what I mean. They'll genocide us without any care. So.
But that's
in fact, actually, he had called you guys specifically when you'd spoken to the warrior. He called you guys rudimentary creatures of blood and flesh.
By the way, what a fucking bullshit ass thing to say before we murder his ass.
I mean, you guys got fucking lucky. You were dropping bombs on him.
It was pretty good.
You flew overhead and dropped bombs on his head.
It was pretty awesome. I'm glad we made friends. So in short, though, he's just gonna have this meal with everyone. And kind of, I think we'll come up with the overall idea of we'll just, we can't pick a side yet because we don't have enough details, and we'll just, if they happen to be in the immediate presence of something we're trying to do or handle, and we need to kill one of them, a Lithid or Gith, it doesn't really matter. Like, we don't have a side in that battle yet.
I'd say Nazim probably has a point of view on whether he's pro Illithid versus pro Gith. He's got a little bit of a personal input there, but
maybe some backstory on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whether you appreciate one species more than the other, let's say. High level overview, the Illithid at one point enslaved the entire species of the Gith, and the Gith freed themselves eventually and have just been trying to utterly eradicate the Illithid ever since, and that's been going on for millennia. So the Illithid were absolutely the bad guys to begin with, but the Gith aren't really good guys either.
That's right. I remember that too. So
yeah.
we actually did get that information also.
Yeah.
Cool. Appreciate it. That was my little thing that I want to do with the group, so we all got a refresher.
Sure. So I guess, are you guys flying south in the evening, or are you waiting till morning? What are you guys doing?
Are we waiting till morning so Artemis can do her thing before we go?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay.
And then we can also actually see, because we're going to be flying over the desert, and desert at night, it's going to be hard to see if we're looking for ruins or temples.
All right. That's fine. Then in that case, Artemis, go ahead and apply long rests if you need to for any spell slots or whatever. And then obviously Sarah, or Artemis rather, go ahead and mark off. You regenerate again.
This is going to be a new day too, so I can do another roll.
Yeah. Yeah. For any charges you guys need to add, this will be Fire's day now. Yeah, it's fine, Sokka.
I'm maxed out because I only need 1 point.
Yeah, Nazim actually had gone to 0 charges on that. He could have lost that staff.
Shit, always 5% chance.
Yeah. It was pretty.
Staff we bought for him.
Yeah, but it was a pretty clutch use of it though. So, all right, Artemis, go ahead and mark off your spell slot for regenerate again, and you guys start making your way south. Shit. All right, so I wanted to have a little bit more for this, but I'm just for the sake of trying to, one, I cut us an hour short today for work as it was, and then took a lot longer getting over shopping and all that kind of stuff. So
I think we did a lot for outside of combat.
It's totally, it's 100% totally fine. I actually enjoy character interaction the most probably, but I know Ben likes to hit things occasionally, so we get I try to cater to everybody as much as we can here. You make your way south, trying to follow the basic direction that Maibi had given you, into the kind of general area in the center of the Great Sand Sea. In so doing, the thing is, if it's going to take you enough hours that if, let's say you left at 8 a.m., it'll still be, mid to late afternoon by the time you get to the far enough south. Basic description, you are flying over this gargantuan kind of roil. It looks like an ocean, like the sand is constantly moving like waves, just permanently. I'll tell you that there are multiple places where there's obviously something moving beneath the sand. You're high enough up on the Sevastopol that you can see out over a vast swath of the desert, and there are clearly living creatures beneath the sand that are moving, and that's probably what is causing all this constant rippling, almost quicksand-like, of the ocean, of the sand itself, rather. So it is moving like a sea. But there's clearly, living creatures beneath it that are massive and serpentine in shape. As far, I was going to say massive in a certain scope, but that's fine. They're kind of varying sizes. Not, ascended level, let's say, like the Great Serpent of Autumn that you guys are expecting to see. But
like a Shai-Hulud.
Shai-Hulud, yeah. Shai-Hulud, yeah. Similar to that, they're obviously serpentine or worm-like in shape. So that is a kind of step pyramid. This would be very similar to that, kind of a Mesopotamian, Aztecian, South American.
What I was thinking, like Incan or Aztecan or whatever.
Yeah, in that same design, in that you'd seen similar ones built by the Tegura and the Yuan-Ti before. The kind of serpentine peoples that came before most of the current humanoid, primate type species.
It's almost like it's the most effective way to build up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it isn't.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nothing. You don't need ancient alien style intervention to be able to learn how to build a pyramid. But you kind of looking for all of these shapes. You keep having to stare out over the horizons. Norok, your eyes are constantly kind of drawn to the south, trying to. Now that you'd had this conversation recently, looking for this. You can't see the constellations. The sky's just too blue. But you expect that maybe at night out here you might be able to see that. I'll tell you though that you do notice something does draw your attention on the horizon, and it's basically just past this giant, massive size of at least a very large country, like at least the size of the United States, let's say, gargantuan desert. To the south of that, there's a row, like a huge, very tall mountain range. And at the top of that was a volcano. You know it's supposed to be a volcano. You've occasionally been able to see this even from Sear Top. So on very clear days, all the way across the ocean, you could see this giant volcano. At one point, that volcano had exploded, and there's a caldera there. You can't really see much. You just know that the tip of the mountain is blown off, and it's the tallest thing in the horizon, all directions, looking 360 degrees around. That blown up volcano is the highest thing by a good bit. Other than, of course, looking up and seeing the tiers of the moon, the kind of broken ring that's still surrounding. But as far as terrestrial, rather, that's the highest thing on the horizon there. Definitely stands out to you because it would be a cool thing to see at some point. But looking down at the desert, give me perception checks with advantage. Okay. Yeah, the average is fine. That's fine. Pietro has to check too.
Me and Peter just leaning over the edge, looking at this
That's
fucking
fair.
desert.
He doesn't need to lean. He can fucking flap out there and look.
Yeah, he's just hanging out.
Yeah.
Pogo's getting so bored.
Staring down over the sides, just kind of constantly as you're having this vestibule almost crisscross across the desert here, trying to spy out whatever you possibly can. There are multiple building shapes, let's say, these tombs that are just covered completely in sand. You see nothing of. There's one that stands out in the region that Maibi had pointed out to you, but you can tell that it's basically just like a square, and that's it. You don't see a shape because it's so buried beneath the sands. But there's like a small. I was going to say human-made, or man-made, but that's not correct, obviously, because this would have been a different species. But an artificially created stone set of blocks that must be correct. The sun is just overbearing to the point that as soon as you start going down into the kind of atmosphere of the heat radiating off of the sands, it's going to be extremely uncomfortable. But you gather that's probably the tomb that she had pointed out. What are you guys doing?
All
Going
right.
down now?
I mean, are we landing this thing?
It is late evening, by the way,
by
now.
then?
So I mean, it'll start to cool off soon. Sorry, late afternoon rather. So it's 5-6 p.m.
I mean, we could always just feather fall off the side of this thing. Wait, no. How many can I do? 5 creatures. I can have 5 of us just feather fall off the side of this.
Fly. PT can take me down there. He can actually take me and you down there.
Okay, then I can cast feather fall on everybody else.
Christ, how long is it going to take? Because I don't want to, how high up are we going to keep our ship? What, like 200 feet, 300 feet?
Are you going to be able to keep concentration from that height? Freaking out?
I mean, if I tie myself to Pogo, I think I'll be good. And it's not concentration. It's just. Sarah's not quite sure how to take that. It's 60 feet per round.
You'd be able to make it down safely with Featherfall.
Oh,
That'd be fine.
yeah. So.
With Sarah, especially if Sarah's on Pietro anyway, she's not actually falling herself, and it isn't concentration, so she can cast it before jumping.
Mm-hmm.
So
perfect.
Does anyone have I'm wondering, do you think we could attach a sword to PT Pablo, maybe on his flank, just tie it to him with a leather strap so he could charge into battle with a sword attached, or a spear?
Like a lance?
I had a lot of time staring at the sand sea here. I was bored. I was just thinking of things. Maybe get 2.
You left the map up this whole time?
Yeah. You know, that could be fun. I'm talking out loud.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Soccer was a lance for fucking joust.
Yeah, but
the little
Anyway.
griffin birds. Those are ostrichy, but yeah.
I'm just curious. Anyone have a lance?
I mean,
Just
no.
happen to carry one.
All right, just curious.
I mean, it doesn't mean we can't find one. I'm sure there's all sorts of.
I'm gonna keep an eye out.
stuff
If
in this
anyone thinks
tomb.
of something fun to, that would help him out, might as well. Next time we're in a big city, I might try to find him a helmet to something.
All right, you guys carefully then make your way down to this kind of rocky stone outcropping that you had seen on the surface. Up above the kind of roiling sands. This is relatively still here. In fact, looking around the horizon, you can just see other peaks of sands. But basically, this is the highest point nearby. And is the only relatively still spot. Kind of making your way to this stone, artificial stone outcropping here. Yep.
Can before we left, if we're going actually down, I would have also told a story to my shield. It would have been a story about how we defeated mages while we were in the waters outside of that other town, and how we met a large, formerly deceased lizard creature, whose name I'm currently forgetting as a person. But I would have told him all the details. So that's what I would have told them. And then big money, no whammies. Oh, not great.
The shield does not wake up. Bastion remains asleep.
I just have a shield. All right, normal shield.
Just a regular shield, yep. You can try once per hour, by the way. So,
Yeah,
I mean, when you do it, it lasts for an hour, and then you could try it again, and then the next hour if you wanted to. So, all right. But you do kind of settle down here. It is oppressive heat. It is going to be extremely uncomfortable. You're kind of choking on the blowing sands already, unless you kind of cover your mouth with with cloaks or cloth of some sort. There are I was going to say if you wanted to bring Pietro down, that's fine too. The surrounding area is relatively quiet. You don't see anything alive except for occasional birds and insects and lizards, but nothing humanoid or sentient as far as you can tell. What are you guys doing?
Did you say if there was an entrance?
There's a giant statue of a snake-headed humanoid creature. In fact, I think you guys fought some Yuan-Ti in one of the previous tombs. Do you remember those?
Yeah,
Anybody?
we fought them. Yeah. We were in the middle of the chain of dogs thing when my EB sent us to that other tomb.
Yeah. Okay. So this is similar, and that's what that statue, is clearly representing. There are broken columns all around. The map is a pretty decent representation. You do see some bleached bone skeletons of snakes. In various places. There's one to the left, or one of the Norok's right, and then there's a gargantuan one up to the top left up there. Just skeletons.
I'm actually still on PD, and we are walking, and I guess I'm gonna fly up about 25 feet, 30 feet, still like just above where we are in the group. Do I see any doors or entranceway?
You don't. When you're actually up higher, you're able to see that this statue, what's in front of it, looks like a giant boulder that doesn't belong there. It clearly the stone doesn't match, and there aren't a lot of rocky outcroppings around here. It's mostly just sand. So the stone was clearly moved here, and it's kind of sitting directly in front of the statue, kind of in an awkward position that is clearly placed.
I'm gonna go fly down next to it, still on PD. I'm just gonna be on PD until I have to get off them. And I'm just gonna kind of look around. Do I see any? I'm gonna let everyone know this. I'm not sure, but this looks weird to me, guys. This doesn't look right. And then
from above, you can see. Well, no, nothing. Actually, shit. Maybe from that angle.
Make weird or feel weird.
Did you say does it taste weird?
Yeah, that's how you can tell rocks. You can lick rocks and you can tell it down.
Give me a perception check with advantage because of the angle you're at. All right. You do see a very small plaque at the feet of the giant statue. The rock would be blocking it basically, but because you're kind of up at an angle, you can kind of see it. The rock is kind of in front of the plaque. It's at the feet of the statue.
I'm gonna just kind of fly up on top of the rock and like get close to it. And is it in a language that I understand?
It is not. It's definitely Old Vabian.
All right. Does anyone speak Old Vabian? Maybe Nazim? PT? No, PT says he doesn't speak it.
Let me double check.
You'd be able to pick out enough details. You definitely speak Vabian, and this would just be...
I'm not fluent or anything, but I think I should pick something up, right?
Does somebody have a spell to be able to read anything?
I do.
If
Nazim's doesn't work, I could use comprehend language.
The language is Moorish, by the way, Sako. You do have it.
I do.
Old. Yeah.
There you go.
Vabian, it is the Vabian language. But Nazim, I'd say that you, with your not telekinesis, your psychokinesis, I guess, of being able to float.
Yeah. Well, 2 feet above the sand, it's just kind of floating above it.
But you'd be able to kind of work your way around to the back here, is what I'm saying, to be able to get over to where the plaque is. The translation, as best you can make of it, is blanket of cities, destroyer of mountains, I make men blind, yet help them see.
Oh, Charles.
Is he in charge?
Nice.
What is it?
So I will give that message to everybody. Or I'll yell that message out to everybody so they can understand as well.
Oh, that sounds terrible. Is this guy? As I look up at the statue, is that him? Wait, is this a riddle?
Of course it is.
Maybe.
Fucking lightning? What is this? No.
Norok, give me a perception check. I think you have advantage. You would definitely have advantage, actually, for this one to be.
Could it be light?
I'm sorry, what kind of check was that, Holmes?
No.
Perception.
So that would be... Well, I can't just make a guess at this, but okay. I can make a guess at this.
Well, I'm going to say something real quick. Anything that you guys are saying out loud right now, I'm going to assume is being said out loud by your characters.
My Pogo is now just
Pogo is pretty much always in character. That's fine. I just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page there.
So is this lightning or is it?
Ben, you catch a glimpse of movement out of your right to the right of you, and it is a flash of movement. And go ahead and give me a. What's what I'm looking for? A dexterity save. Just Norok.
And also, I don't think Norok can be surprised.
That's kind of the point here, yeah, is that this is a kind of a jump at him out of nowhere. Norok, you see it, obviously, a skeletal shape of a snake-like creature that is that kind of lunging out towards you. Does not successfully connect, of course. I guess with the noise of that, there could potentially be, a reveal, but something lunges out at you. Obviously, you have a moment to react, so you can, spend a turn if you so choose.
Okay. If he's lunging out at me, then I'm just going to attempt to dodge if I can out of the way.
Okay. I would say with with your dex save that would include that. That's fine. You do dodge out of the way. It coils up behind you. It is a skeletal snake. Like creature. In fact, that was the one that was on the ground here. Let me delete that one. There we go. As it is kind of coiled up and preparing to kind of lash back out at you. But we'll come back to that in a second. That is it is clearly trying to. I guess you wouldn't. Never mind. You wouldn't be able to have those. Never mind. So. People on the rock, you heard a small scuffle. Turn around and see Norok is kind of guarding himself from this kind of bone snake that is trying to lash out at strike at him.
Bone snake, name my porn tape.
Is he a skeletal snake or a skeletal humanoid snake? I can't remember the name of the species. I'm sorry.
The Yuan-Ti is a species. This is a skeletal, like a giant. It probably had a humanoid figure at the top because you do see a rib cage. I remember that. That was a good meme for a while. The sneaky snake guy. Anyway, it had like a humanoid style rib cage, but you can't see it. It's just bones.
Okay.
So it doesn't have arms. It's just a kind of
big snake.
Head snake.
Skeletal snake. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
One of them armless snakes.
Can I throw a spell at it?
Sure.
Are we in? Yeah, I was gonna say. Are we
Great.
in?
Yeah, go ahead and. I don't want to start. I was trying to avoid actually starting combat here, but if nobody has said anything while standing on the rock, you guys have nobody's like said a word, right?
I kind of want to mention a few things, if that's okay.
I haven't said anything because I'm not really sure what this riddle is at the moment.
Yeah, I think Sarah was
the
just
words
trying to
I
think.
said were lightning, lights.
You're floating above it though. You're not standing on the rock, right? You're flapping around.
No, I'm on the rock.
Oh, you landed on it? Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And
All
then
right,
those are the three things that. And then no, those are the only three things that I said.
Okay.
So, sun,
Nazim?
light, and lightning.
What did you say, Nazim? Or what were you going to at least?
He said
But I'm not
lightning. He said lightning, light, and what?
I said out loud. Pogo would have said lightning, light, and the sun, but he doesn't know what this would do. So as soon as he heard the snake, he's just gonna turn around. And
Okay, after reading that, I would just kind of say to myself out loud in a questioning voice, "Wind, sandstorm."
Oh well.
Okay. There's a crack, like a earthquake, kind of a not quake, but some motion, obviously, beneath the ground.
Now
And now lifting back up on Pietro.
Yeah.
All right.
Now.
And looking, I guess, if you guys are all looking the other direction, you would hear a snake-like elongated S's whispering coming from behind all of you. Sarah, you wouldn't be able to see it because the rock is too big and in your way, but Arteme, Pogo, and Nazim sitting on the rock would see a snake-like figure kind of apparate out of the sand. A live version essentially of that kind of vaguely humanoid figure, that vaguely humanoid snake that Norok is down by. And it slithers, out of the sand basically, and to everyone, in a crackling voice asks, "Who are you and why are you here?"
In common.
Actually, shit, it would just be Nazim that would understand it then. It'd be in Moorish.
Oh boy. All right. I will spin back and tell everyone it's asking us why we're here. We better come up with a good excuse real quick.
It's got an arm lifted up and pointed out in your direction, and Nazim, you can see threads beginning to wrap around it. It's definitely going to hit you with something.
I just closed my goddamn notes. It was 8:28. I didn't think I'd need them.
It's about to.
I mean, we're here for Misetsu's hood, but I don't know if we want to tell him that.
We're here to pay honor to Misetsu. Now here's the problem. I don't know if this guy likes Misetsu. Would I know enough to know that Misetsu's tomb is a place where he would have been worshipped there, or that people would be guarding it to make sure people that
does this look like a tomb or a prison?
What would I know from the history of this? Because it'll go one of two ways. I'd either, based off my history, say we're here to praise Misetsu, or we're here to make sure Misetsu stays deceased. It would be one of those two. But
so this is not Misetsu's tomb. This is one of the tomb is supposed to be one of his disciples, and some of Misetsu's artifacts, like the things he had in life, are here. Misetsu is risen again, though. He's alive again now. So
undead. You know what? I would just, roll it. Give me a second here. 1 and 2, I'm on Misetsu's side. 3 and 4. All right. So yeah, I would just tell him that we are disciples of Misetsu, here to pick up some things.
The word, by the way, Sako, the word was sand. And you said it in sandstorm, so sandstorm kind of counts. Hey! Here to pick up some things. Okay.
So we're picking up some things for him, and like that, just to make it quick. That's what I would say.
Make a deception check on Pogo, and it'll be with disadvantage.
Well, I'm just telling Nazim to say it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's true. That's shit. Okay. That's going to change the DC actually, because we're going to have to translate through Nazim, and Nazim is not as persuasive. So Nazim,
I've got a face built for radio, so it's more.
Make a deception check with Nazim, and the DC is going to be pretty high. It's going to be 20.
Okay. Normal here.
Yeah.
Here we go.
No,
Deception.
sorry. Deception check, disadvantage. DC's 20.
Boo.
Not with that. There is a flash. We're going to stop here, but there is a flash of black and green threads that impact Nazim square in the chest.
Spell magic. Or
it's not the spell
or
you
whatever.
meant. That's not the spell you meant. But
no, counter spell is what I meant.
I'm going to say that because you're on the ground behind the rock, and the rock is high. They're up on the rock, and you can't see him. You see what I'm saying? With the angle, you wouldn't be able to see him where he's casting.
Okay, do I get my chill touch off then? That I said I sent out to the other one.
Oh shit! I did. Okay, you put it in the chat. I totally didn't even hear you. Sorry. You were sending that to the Bone Nogger to the south, right?
Yeah. That was before the big guy showed up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead and click that. I totally missed that. He's got 2 different spells that I want to. One of the 2 here. Just so that you guys are prepared for next week of the kind of severity that this thing could potentially be hitting you guys with. He's going to start with this one.
And then next week we'll start with...
Yeah, we'll pick up here with initiative and everything.
Cool.
That's what he's starting with. It is a DC 20 con save, Nazim, so if you have yourself highlighted and then click that saving throw DC button in chat, it'll roll it for you. So 62 damage, maybe cut in half, potentially, depending on your... I had a VA for it, too. Pretty cool looking art.
Throw that con save. Big money, no whammies. Level 15 con save.
Yeah, you guys are at... This is tier 4, by the way. You guys are at...
By the way,
just shoot a normal one.
I still think...
Yeah, normal con save.
I still think we played that the best we could have played. Boom, bitches!
Shit! Wow! All right.
Boom.
So half damage.
Nice.
In fact, actually, I'm going to say it's probably even reduced a little since it's natural 20. That's the art that I found for the guy that I thought was kind of cool looking.
Cool.
Just Google wouldn't do anything, but still cool. All right, so I'll apply that for you. Let's look at next week.
So
What does
I will
the calendar look like?
up in Oregon at the